Hey, everybody. My name is Jason. I'm 53 years old and I have prostate cancer that's metastasized to my spine. And on this channel, we talk about it a lot. Today, we're doing episode 25. This is take two. I spent an hour or two this morning doing an episode. I forgot to use the right software and then had to redo it. And then there's a bunch of hissing noise on the audio, so I had to redo it. So I'm just redoing it. I'm redoing it again from scratch, and this is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. See you in a sec.
Welcome to Prostate Cancer, the road to recovery with Jason Stone, a stage 4 fighter. This podcast brings you support and insights from survivors, fighters, and medical experts. Join us for an educational and inspiring journey.
All right. Welcome. And today, episode 25, what we're going to be talking about is myths and facts. There's a couple of episodes out there that I still want to do. I've been working on some research for a couple of them not ready to do yet. But this one has been creeping up in my to-do list, and because there's so much misinformation out there, and there's so many things we hear that we may think it's true, and turns out it's not, and what's true and what's not. So let's do a facts versus myths episode. All right. I picked out 10 of them. 9 or 10. I lost count. And we're just going to go through them. So there's the statement is prostate cancer always requires immediate treatment. That sometimes you hear that. Sometimes you hear, oh, if you've got cancer, you got to do something about it right away. Well, if you've been through this, you know there's a long wait time. So that statement is a myth that you have to do something immediately. Not all prostate cancers require immediate treatment. So there's some specific cases. What happens is you go along, you're getting your screenings, your annual screenings, you're checking your PSA levels, and your PSA level starts to go up. Your doctor says, hey, your PSA's gone up for a couple of these tests. There's no other indications of an infection, prostatitis, any issues. Let's do a biopsy. And then they do a biopsy. Hopefully they do an MRI and then a biopsy. It's called an MRI guided biopsy. But either way, you end up doing a biopsy. And this biopsy will give you, what they'll do is they'll take the cells from the biopsy, they'll put them under a microscope, and they're going to come up with what they call a Gleason score. And it's primary, there's a primary number of, they'll grade the cells. And the first number, there's going to be two numbers. The first number is the primary type of cell, and the second number is the secondary type of cell. So if you do all of this, you're doing your screenings, you do do an MRI, do the biopsy, and your Gleason score comes back as a 3+3. That means your primary and your secondary grades are both 3s. And 3s, you don't have to act on right away. In fact, it's what they call you can manage it with active surveillance, or what they call watchful waiting. And so it all depends on the stage and aggressiveness of the cancer. If you come back with a Gleason 6, a 3+3, you may be able to say, okay, doc, let's, in 3 months, can I get another test? In 6 months, I don't know if I could wait 6 months if I was doing active surveillance. I'd do it every 3 months. Can I get another test in 3 months? And you do another PSA test, and then another 3 months, you do another PSA test. And at some point, that rise in your PSA is going to be indicative of additional problems. And it's the slope of the line. It's how it's going up. If it's going up nice and steady and linearly, then probably not a lot of concern. As soon as it starts uptaking with a curve, then you've got issues and you need to take more aggressive action. And that's where you start talking to your doctor. What do we want to do? Do we want to do surgery? Do we want to do hormone therapy and radiation? What are the options? And then you start talking about the side effects. What are the side effects of the radiation? What are the side effects of the hormone therapy? What are the side effects of the surgery? Make sure before you decide that you understand what all the side effects are. Anyway, all right. So my source for that was the PCF, Prostate Cancer Foundation, And active surveillance or watchful waiting is absolutely a means. And here's what this does for you. There are a lot of non-clinic treatments that are not true. They're not treatments. There are a lot of things you can do that aren't supported by clinical evidence, but they are supported by what do you call it? Evidentiary. People have had success in lowering their PSA by eating cooked tomatoes. I'm doing some tomato paste every day. Whether you're doing spaghetti sauce that has a lot of sugar in it, try and do low sugar whatever you're doing. So I just do the straight tomato paste. Do something that may have some benefits. Turkey tail mushrooms. Do those every day while you're on active surveillance and watchful waiting. See what happens. Then you'll know. You'll know what works for you. And start looking at your diet. Start looking at Mediterranean or keto or plant-based, whatever you think is going to work for you based on what you find, and see if you can control it or turn it. Because, man, wouldn't that be an awesome situation? Do the monitor your PSA, starts going up, do the MRI, then the biopsy, come back with the 3+3, and you'd be like, okay. And then you start trying tomato paste every day and turkey tail mushrooms every day and something else. And you change your diet and you're doing more exercise. And then the next 3 months, your PSA goes down, and then it goes down again, and then it goes down again. And you're like, well, doc, do we need to do anything? And your doc's like, keep doing whatever you're doing. Wouldn't that be the situation to be in? Yeah. All right. So statement, early detection improves outcomes. This is a fact. The sooner you get diagnosed, the better your chances are. Early detection of prostate cancer significantly increases the chances of successful treatment and long-term survival. Regular screening can help detect cancer at an early stage when it's most treatable. This is from the American Cancer Society. So once again, get those PSA screenings. And you're watching this because you're already doing this. You're already in this, which means, it's not, well, I don't want to say it's too late. That has a horrible connotation. It's, you're already on the path, but make sure you're sharing this information with every biological male around you in their 40s and older. Talk about this. Hey, man, if you got your PSA, it's going to seem weird. It's only going to be weird the first 12 times you do it. All right. After that, it's less weird. Did you get your PSA screening? When's the last time you had your PSA tested? And talk about your situation so that they know, hey, this is a real thing. Yeah. Okay. Statement 3. High PSA levels always mean cancer. That's a myth. That is not a fact. That is absolutely not a fact. There are guys walking around with normalized, steady state PSA levels higher than mine were when my cancer metastasized, and they don't have cancer. So elevated PSA levels can indicate prostate cancer. It's just an indicator, but they can also be caused by other conditions like benign prostatic hyperplasia or prostatitis. You need further testing. The only real diagnosis is the biopsy. When they stick the thing with the needles in your place and go in and goes through the wall and it probably caused some PTSD for some of you. Sorry. And they come out with those core samples. They put them under a microscope. That's when they know whether or not you have cancer. So getting the biopsy as a diagnosis. The PSA is just an indicator, and an elevated PSA may be an infection. It may be, hey, you started riding a bike a lot. This is what I thought my issue was. I thought was trying to shed some COVID weight. I was getting back on a bicycle, and that pressure down there from the bike seat and that spot squishes the thing, squishes your prostate, and it can cause your PSA levels to rise. Turns out it can also cause cancer to squish out. Oh, man. If I could go back in time. But I completely lost track. Yeah. So what were we talking? The myth was so elevated PSA levels, but also the opposite is also a myth. A low PSA doesn't mean you don't have cancer. Okay, a low PSA doesn't mean that you're cancer free. A low PSA is an indicator that there's probably not a lot of prostate cancer growth. Now, if you're in treatment or post treatment, if you had the surgery or you're in treatment with radiation and hormone therapy, you should have a low PSA. And then they watch that, and as it starts rising, that's an indicator of a recurrence. But a low PSA doesn't mean no cancer, because it's just an indicator. There's only one diagnostic thing. So the source for that was Johns Hopkins Medicine, that website. A lot of good information on there. Statement: age is a major risk factor, because we see more and more young guys getting prostate cancer. So is age really a concern? Yeah, well, it's a fact. Yes, age is still a risk factor. The older you get, the more likely you are to develop prostate cancer. My radiation oncologist said it this way. He said, all men, if they live long enough, will get prostate cancer. Most men, if they die of old age, die with prostate cancer, not of prostate cancer. And some of the numbers are 1 in 4 to 1 in 7 men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. And that's just because they're dying at a younger age, a younger meaning less than 99. And, they didn't know they had prostate cancer. When they do, not biopsies. Well, they do biopsies on it, but when they check, men who have passed in their 80s and 90s, they almost all have prostate cancer. How crazy is that? So it's something that's going to happen. What you want to do is you want to do everything you can with your lifestyle to make sure that it's a lot older when it happens. So the risk of developing prostate cancer increases significantly with age, particularly after age 50. Most cases are diagnosed in men over 65. That's still true, but that number's going down. That number's going down so much so that they've lowered the screening age from 60, 65 down to 45 for white males, for Caucasian males, and down to 40 for African-American males. So the source for that was the Mayo Clinic. What a good website. That's one of the top prostate cancer centers in the country, if not the top. And they have a lot of fantastic information on their website. So this statement ties to the last one. Prostate cancer only affects older men. That's a myth. It doesn't only affect older men. I was diagnosed a year ago, when I was 52, right? I don't think that's old, right? Right? That's not old. It is more common in older men, but prostate cancer can affect younger men as well. So it's screening and awareness. And, all my life, I can think of commercials and awareness for breast cancer. I can't think of any times where I've sat and watched a commercial on prostate cancer. It's not talked about. It's not discussed. And we're going to change that. I'm from Idaho. We are going to change that. We're going to talk about it. We're talking about it here. You're going to talk about it with your friends, with the guys that and you're going to you're going to normalize talking about men's health. We are going to do that. It's going to be important for men of all ages, 40 and up. So statement: family history plays a role. And another way of saying that is you're only going to get prostate cancer if it's genetic. So family history, it's a fact that family history does play a role. It's a myth that it's only genetic. So for my case, I'm pretty sure the Navy gave me prostate cancer. In fact, the Navy on the va.gov website, and you go to the PACT Act, follow the links for the PACT Act page, there's a little paragraph with some bulleted items that says, here is what gives you prostate cancer. Here's what the Navy, the military, acknowledges gives prostate cancer. And in there is submarine service, check. shipyard, time in a shipyard, check. Some other stuff. And so I'm pretty sure I got mine from the Navy. Mine's not. And we did a genetic test. We did the genetic, my radiation oncologist set off for the genetic test. Mine's not genetic. Mine is environmentally caused. Mine's lifestyle and environmental. Lifestyle. I'm obese. I've been obese. Obesity plays a role in getting prostate cancer. So family history plays a role. That's a fact. Having a father or brother, this is important. If you've got prostate cancer in your family and your dad's not talking about it, your brothers aren't talking about it, you got uncles that aren't talking about it, your grandfather didn't talk about it, then you're at risk. You need to find out if it runs in your family. Having a father or brother with prostate cancer more than doubles a man's risk of developing the disease, more than doubles. And then genetic factors can significantly influence susceptibility. For example, African American men are 4 times more likely to get prostate cancer, and it's more likely to be diagnosed at a later age at a later stage, and the mortality rate is higher. And that's from the Prostate Cancer Foundation, PCF. That is, man, that's scary. So if you don't know if it runs in your family, if you're not sure, you need to find out. And if you have it, make sure all the other men in your family know you have it. Get some genetic testing. Is it genetic? Should they be worried? Should your sons, should your brothers be worried? Right? All right, here's another statement. Vasectomy. This is one I've heard. This one is one I've heard and I believed. I believed this for such a long time. I'm not sure. I still don't believe it. Vasectomy increases risk of prostate cancer. It came up as a myth. However, the reason is it says there's no conclusive evidence to suggest that having a vasectomy increases the risk of developing prostate cancer. And the source is the American Urological Association. Okay, then how do you explain the data that says that prostate cancer goes up? Your risk for prostate cancer goes up after getting a vasectomy. Is it just the age? Is it because at some point men are of an age where they consider that as an option, and that coincides with the fact that they are older and are at a higher risk for getting prostate cancer? I don't know. That's probably what they're banking on, but yeah, I have always heard and thought that vasectomies increase your risk of prostate cancer, but it came up as a myth. So we're going to go with myth, according to the American Urological Association, because you can trust the government. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Here's the statement. Prostate cancer can be asymptomatic. Well, can it be asymptomatic? Yeah, that's a fact. What that means is you can have prostate cancer and not know it. When going back to those men in their 80s and 90s, even 70s, that die with prostate cancer, not of prostate cancer, they probably didn't know they had it. It grows in your prostate initially, and those cells, depending on where it's at in your prostate, it may not affect your ability to urinate. If it's far away from your urethra, it's closer to the walls, the outside walls of your prostate, then you're not going to notice as that cancer grows, and it may not be squeezing down on your urethra. You may not notice the weaker stream, or it's harder to go, or the whole hard to empty your bladder all the way thing. You may not notice that. You may have prostate cancer and not have any symptoms, because it is typically a slow growing cancer. It typically gets to a higher stage before it's starting to affect other parts of your body. Like mine, it had broken out of the prostate before I really noticed any symptoms. And when it broke out, it attacked the nerves that control the valves and stuff for sexual function. So everything went dead, and I hadn't even been diagnosed yet. It just became part of my, here's another symptom, doc. I don't know what happened, but everything went dead completely and doesn't work. And it's because the cancer got all this stuff. Yeah. So can prostate cancer be asymptomatic? Yeah, early stage prostate cancer often has no symptoms. So this is why, once again, regular screening is crucial for early detection. Even don't let your friends say, well, I don't have any symptoms yet. I'll get checked when I have symptoms. You know what? No, don't. It's going to be too late. You don't want it to be stage 4. You don't want to find out at stage 3 or stage 4. You don't. So the source there for CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Here's another statement. Prostate cancer is always slow growing. That's a myth. Now, many prostate cancers do grow slow, but some can be aggressive and spread quickly. And the rate of growth can vary between individuals. And it can also vary between tumors. So to use my situation as an example again, my tumors in my prostate were slow growing. They were the normal kind, the slow growing kind, not aggressive initially. But the tumor, when that metastatic tumor took off in my L1, that was aggressive. But it's still prostate cancer. It's still those prostate cancer cells that move from my prostate up to my spine. And so why is it different? We don't know. There's so much we don't know about this. So it can vary, the rate of growth, the aggressiveness can vary person to person. Your lifestyles, there can be lifestyle impact, there can be environmental impact, and then it could just be the cancer's stupid and it does weird things. That's from the National Comprehensive Cancer Network, NCCN. That's where a lot of the treatment plans come from. So prostate cancer is common but treatable. That's a fact. It is common. Now here's a twist to that. A lot of men will say, or you'll hear, that prostate cancer is one of the most common types of cancer among men, and then you'll hear that, lung cancer is the leading cause of death among men. Well, those are both true. Because there are so many good treatments, and with the screening in place right now and men catching that they have prostate cancer early enough that they can get into aggressive treatments, they can go after it and, deal with it early enough that you have a long, happy life. I was looking at that's what we'll do. I'll get into the Facebook support group. I was looking at a video on the prostate cancer support group, or not a video, a post on the prostate cancer support group earlier. And a guy said, hey, just wanted to give a shout out to everybody. I've been here for stage 4 for 8 years. 8 years, stage 4. And he's active, he's happy, he's dealing with the symptoms, but he's managing, and that's very, very, very hopeful. That's a lot of good, hopeful information. All right. So those are the facts and myths thing. It doesn't seem as dramatic and impactful as I was hoping, but we've been going for a half hour. I'm going to wrap this up. I wanted to let you know that I'm thinking about all of you, and I care about you, and spread the word. Spread awareness. September's coming up. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Come up with a plan to share information and spread awareness. All right? Love you all.